93 KLIN.
Well, we are live and something fishy's going on. At least smells fishy. We got a fish slinger. You know the Wiener Slinger, Wyatt? Stadium?
Yeah.
They shoot out those hot dogs left and right. We have a fish slinger.
Weird.
You're going to like this one. No, it's Talking Text Tuesday. Chance for you to let us know what's on your mind. All you have to do is call or text us up. The Hunt Irrigation Talking Text line, 402-479-1400. Lots of things that we could talk about today. A little bit later on, I'm going to get into the Hunter Biden pardon. Man, I tell you what, left and right are going nuts. Both of them are going crazy on this one. I've got some pretty fun clips to play for that. Then we got a lot of Husker football changes happening over the last 24, 48 hours. We can go through that as well. I was going to talk about football rivalries, you know, all the stuff that was going on over the weekend. Kind of like Nebraska not shaking hands with Iowa at the coin flip. And we have, Michigan flag being staked down in the Ohio State Stadium, all the stuff. Fights, people getting kicked out. I think Michigan and Ohio State, something happened there where they got fined, I think.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it was
about.
about.
100K each.
I know. That's a big chunk.
It's crazy.
So we could talk about that. Obviously, Husker volleyball, they're rolling into the tournament here over the weekend. They'll be starting that here in Lincoln. So lots to talk about. 402-479-1400. Also comment on any of our 8 social media feeds as well. Well, let's go back to this fish slinger. I want to start with this because I just saw this story and it is almost literally like a movie, Wyatt. It's a tale of a stinky fish because of the fish slinger. A Lincoln jury today found a Lincoln man guilty in a case that reads like a movie. All right. And it's all about the fish. And I read this in the Lincoln Journal-Star today, and I'm like, oh my goodness, we have to talk about this. And Wyatt, you're going to have to tell us. And if you're listening, tell us if you think this is fair or not. But I'd love to know your thoughts if this guy should have been charged with a crime. In his trial today, Joseph Schrader didn't deny that he was the one who went into a newly opened Nebraska Department of Motor Vehicles, DMV, service center in Lincoln's Highlands neighborhood last May with a bag of fish fillets and carrots. But he denied he didn't have he intended to cause any damage or disturb anyone's peace when he threw it around with a raised voice in an incident that lasted about a minute. He was charged with 2 misdemeanors, criminal mischief causing over $1,500 in damage or more, and disturbing the manager's peace. Schrader, 34 years old, was frustrated with the DMV and said it was his second time that he had been there that day. Earlier that day, and for years, now here's the key, for years, he had been trying to get his driver's license, but they refused, calling him a non-citizen despite serving in the U.S. Marine Corps. Deputy Lancaster County Attorney Don Skaggs asked him if he took a bag of raw fish fillets to the DMV on May 17th. Schrader said he only took a couple. Then he said, quote, there were 2 8-ounce fish fillets with carrots. Now, if there were maggots in it growing in those fish fillets, I didn't put them there. I'm telling you, this is literally like a comedy. Then the Lincoln police officer, Samuel Needham, who found him a block away soon after, testified that he smelled strongly of fish when he picked him up. Jurors saw photos of what was described as a fish chum and carrots all over the carpet, walls, ceiling tiles, where workers had already started cleaning up the mess, the smelly mess, by the way, when Lincoln Police Department had arrived. But the video of the incidents never was turned over to police due to miscommunication. Then Sarah Hogue, DMV manager on duty that day, testified that Schrader had come in yelling and smeared fish on the carpet, threw it around, then threw the bag to the ceiling. And she said that the odor lasted for weeks. Now, have you ever cooked fish, Wyatt? Like you get rotten, stinky fish?
When I lived at home with my parents, that was nasty stuff, man.
We cooked it one time and the house smelled for almost like 2 weeks.
Oh gosh, I know, it's so bad.
So anyway, she testified that this obviously it disturbed her, the actions that day for her, the people that work for her. Skaggs asked Schrader what he was yelling. Schrader said, "Was I yelling? There's no audio of the recording, so how could you say I was yelling? It's funny. And then he said, well, you had raised vocals. Skag then asked Mr. Schrader, do you believe that something fishy was going on at the DMV?
Good
Is
Lord.
that correct?
My gosh.
And he said, at this point of time, yes, there was something fishy going on at the DMV, Schrader said, but he denied damaging anything. Skaggs then asked Schrader if he believed the DMV deserved his vandalism. Quote, I believe that the DMV needed to understand that I'm a former U.S. Marine and I had a valid driver's license for the last 3 years. Yes, I believe they needed to understand that. And then in closing arguments, his attorney, Bill Chapin, said that he kept going back to the DMV because he couldn't get them to issue him his driver's license or ID. Here's the irony of all this. Now, here's the whole turning point. He said the irony in this case is this. While Schrader was in jail, he suddenly gets his driver's license.
What is this story, man? This is crazy.
I know. Schrader said that the DMV ultimately sent him his license, realizing that they had made a mistake.
So that man went in there throwing fish. And what kind of damage do you have to do to cause over $1,000 in damage at the DMV? What the hell do you got to crash to do that? That's what I don't understand. So he did all that, wasted our taxpayer money for nothing. That was all for nothing, man.
Well, but wait a second, though. If you were denied your driver's license, that means you can't drive. That means you can't go to work, or you have to find an alternative way to go to work. That means if you're trying to find a job, that means you wouldn't have been able to vote.
So
unless you got your other,
yeah.
There's more to this. Like, I know, we'll get to is if it's justified or not. The point is that what his intent was, and that's what Chapin was saying. His intent was going there obviously to make a statement to the DMV to get their attention. I don't think his intent was to damage anything. Then he argued that the evidence didn't show over $1,500 in damage, and took issue with the police not He took issue with the police not collecting pieces of fish so that the jurors could figure out how offensive it was or wasn't. The cleanup cost about $4,300, carpeting, ceiling tiles, cleaning services, labor, and so forth. Here's the thing. The jury got the case for deliberation this morning at 10 a.m. and returned early this afternoon with the verdict of guilty on both counts.
This is pointless. This has got to be one of the most pointless stories I have heard in a long time, dude. I don't get the point of this. Like,
well, that's why I thought I'd bring it up. It's Talk and Text Tuesday, and it was the most ridiculous thing I'd read all day. Schrader's now set for sentencing in January. All right, he can get up to. And do you think this is fair? He can get up to a year imprisonment on the criminal mischief charges and up to 3 months for disturbing the peace. Is that too much? Too little? Too late?
I don't know. I wouldn't throw him in the slammer. I would put that man on community service or something. I don't think he needs to go to jail.
But he was already in jail when he got his driver's license that the DMV said that they screwed up on.
Dude, it is crazy. This is just a weird story, man.
I'm getting text right now. I'm getting text right now saying they had heard about this story from behind the scenes. So it's pretty interesting. Call in. What do you think? Is it fair or not? We've got a caller on the line right now, 402-479-1400. You can text in as well. Also, you can comment on any of our 8 social media feeds, and we can continue the dialogue to see if you think this is fair. I want to talk about a few other things as well as we get into the show for this afternoon. I want to talk about the Huskers, the changes in the Huskers coaching staff. We've got the portal going on like crazy at this point. Players are starting to leave. We'll probably be finding some players as well. And then also want to talk about that Hunter Biden pardon as well. We'll find out all about whether it was justified or not. We're going to get your opinions on this. You got Republicans and Democrats in arms. Joe said he wasn't going to do it. Joe did it. Democrats said Joe was taking the high road. Now they're saying he didn't. So we're going to get into that as well. The Hunt Irrigation Talk and Text line's now open, 402-479-1400. Thanks so much for listening to Drive Time Nebraska.
Insights into a world of noise and confusion.
They say what I think, but smarter.
1499.3 KLIN. Does your business need quick, competitive financing for heavy machinery, trucks, or other equipment? Currency is here to help. Whether you're financing construction equipment, farm equipment, trucks, trailers, or any other big-ticket item, Currency will automatically find the best rates. Currency facilitates loans for up to $500,000 with repayment terms up to 72 months. It's fast, easy, and free to use. Visit gocurrency.com and apply today.
Save big money and update your home for the holidays with beautiful Mastercraft doors at Menards. Mastercraft has been building high-quality doors for over 50 years. Choose from our huge in-stock selection or design your door your way with our free step-by-step design program. Online or in-store today. Right now, save time and money with a pre-finished bright white 6-panel interior door system. Only $129.99 now at Menards. Sale price good through December 8th.
4 seasons greetings to you all from Menards.
In this season of togetherness, support older adults through Tabitha. Remember Lincoln area residents who just don't have the luxury of friends or family nearby, or the means to shop for and cook food. 81% cannot afford to cover the cost of this meal delivery that allows them to remain independent at home. Give the gift of meals with Tabitha Meals on Wheels. Go to tabitha.org/serve and make a donation today. Tabitha Foundation is a purpose-driven 501c3 nonprofit. Your donation is tax deductible.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down, get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
You're listening to Drive Time Nebraska with Doug Fitzgerald. Disagree with Doug? The guests? The topic? Call or text 402-479-1400 now to be a part of the show. KLIN weather brought to you by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electrical.
Mainly clear and chilly this evening with the temperature dropping into the low 30s by midnight. After midnight, mostly clear with a low in the upper 20s. Wednesday, mostly sunny to partly cloudy, cool and windy. A few sprinkles or flurries can't be completely ruled out, high in the upper 40s. From the 1011 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Brandon Rector.
KLIN Time Saver Traffic, delivered by Paisanos, Lincoln's best brick oven pizza.
Getting a report of a stalled vehicle in the southbound lane of North 56th Street and Vine. That is causing some backup. Makes that call on the traffic tip line. Also, the usual slow going on U.S. Highway 34 and West Fletcher Avenue, North 14th Street and Superior, O Street stretching from 27th to 56th Street and South 56th between Normal Boulevard and Van Dorn. Do keep in mind that South 56, A to South Street, you have a southbound lane closure for utility work, and harvest season continues throughout the region. Do watch for trucks and equipment on the roadways, and with that early sunset, make sure that the headlights are on. If you do see anything that slows you down, call the traffic tip line 402-479-1414. Lincoln's listening to Time Saver Traffic.
Now, back to more Drive Time Nebraska with Doug Fitzgerald on 1499.3 KLIN.
Man, who would have thought a stinky fish would have gotten so many reactions? Text, comments, calls. I'm excited about this. We got 2 callers that we're waiting on the line. We'll get to you in just a second. Thanks so much for tuning in to Drive Time Nebraska, made possible by our title sponsor, Lincoln Coin and Bullion. They've been taking care of me for well over 10 years. There's no sales tax on buying gold and silver, platinum and palladium here in Lincoln and Nebraska because of the hard work that Lincoln Coin and Bullion did behind the scenes with the legislature to get that passed. Also this year, they also worked with the legislature to make sure that you are not charged capital gains on your gold, silver, platinum, or palladium in the state of Nebraska as well. Plus, they'll help you out with your portfolio, so check them out. They work by appointment only, 402-327-2853, and they have a lot to offer on their website, LincolnCoinandBullion.com, one of the largest and most trusted coin and bullion dealers in the Midwest. Check them out and go there. And when when you do call them up or go there, tell them you heard about it on Drive Time Nebraska. All right, in the last segment, we talked about stinky fish. It's Talking Text Tuesday, 402-479-1400. And Mr. Schrader went to the DMV, threw some fish around along with some carrots, caused commotion. And that trial was today. He was found guilty on that. I want to go to our first caller on line 1 from Greenwood. Welcome to Drive Time Nebraska.
Hi, thanks for having me on your show.
Absolutely. What are your thoughts today?
I think this man's completely justified. They should have, after they realized they screwed up, they should have dropped all charges after they mailed him his license for taking him through all that rigmarole. Because these government workers sitting there not doing their jobs right, just stressing people out. I mean, definitely should have got time back for time served if he went to jail.
Well, that's what I thought too. And then when they sent him his driver's license, at least according to the article in the Lincoln Journal-Star, when he was in jail, he got his driver's license, and he was military, which I don't understand how in the world it got so complicated. And the thing I understand, here's what I'm learning about is, as we dig into this whole political world, the DMV is where we find out whether people are part of citizens of this country or not, right? And this guy he serves in the military. He serves in the Marines. They should have known this. Obviously, they found out later, but they should have known. And it says years that he didn't have it, that he was going in there for a couple of years or so.
Yeah, and just the fact that those people at obviously your producer or your other man he ain't dealt with the DMV enough to understand the frustrations. But I've dealt with the DMV plenty through buying and selling cars, and definitely if you buy or sell a car from out of state and try and bring it in this state and deal with the land, but specifically the Lancaster DMV, because I live in Cass County and my DMV is great. My ladies at the DMV are very helpful, very nice. They're in small town Plattsmouth, do a great job. But Lancaster, when I lived in Lancaster, those people at the DMV do not care to help you out anymore than not even as much as they should. And obviously this man, if they sent him his license in the mail, he obviously was doing something right and they were doing something wrong.
Well, maybe we need to get a sponsor and we throw a fish fry for him and the DMV workers.
Or the DMV workers, and then maybe they'd lighten their hearts a little bit to us poor little lowly citizens.
There you go. Well, thanks for calling in. We appreciate that. As you think about this, when I read it, at first I was like, oh my goodness, this is the silliest story. Then I started reading through. Here's what I do appreciate about the story and the accuracy of this. Well, obviously I'm hoping the accuracy of the story itself from the Lincoln Journal-Star, but I think it's interesting that both the prosecutor and what do I want to say here? What's his name? The prosecutor and the attorney for the county. I was getting everything all screwed up here. Took it lighthearted. You know what I'm saying? Like they were having fun. You could tell they were having fun with it. Obviously, at some point they had to break and make a decision. But yeah. Anyway, I appreciate you calling in. We've got another caller on line 2 from Lincoln. Welcome to Drive Time Nebraska.
Hi. I listen to your show every night.
Oh, thank you. We appreciate that. Much. Thank you. So your thought or comments today?
I went to the DMV. I totally understand his frustration. I went in twice to try to get a state ID because I medically can no longer drive. So they just said, bring my driver's license in. They would give me a state ID. And I get there, and the young male behind the counter gets all the way through the process, takes my picture, and then says, oh, well, we can't process this. We need your papers. And I said, my papers? He goes, yes. You have to prove that you're a citizen of the United States to have a Nebraska driver's license. I said, I am a citizen of the United States. I've been a citizen since 1963. And I have the gold star on the right upper hand corner of my driver's license showing that they have on record all of my naturalization and citizenship papers, and that I am a citizen of the United States. And he said, well, we can't. He also made a comment because on the form you fill out, you have to put if you're a Republican or Democrat or independent. He goes, oh, you're a Republican. I said, I'm a proud Republican. And he said, well, we can't give you a driver's license. He goes, the state of Nebraska completely erases all of your information as soon as your driver's license expires, which is not true. Federally, they legally cannot do that.
I hope they wouldn't.
And so 2 trips out there, I still don't have a state ID. They won't issue me one.
So it's not you. This hasn't been solved yet?
No, and the federal government takes 18 months to get a copy sent to me of my naturalization certificate.
So what's your next steps then?
I'm going to go talk to a nonprofit about what I can do, and they have someone there who's dealt with the DMV. But thanks to your show, I was able to vote this year.
Good.
Because I heard on the show that they look at, your name and your picture and, for ID. They didn't look at the expiration date on the driver's license. And so at 7:30 on that Tuesday night, I was the happiest woman in Lincoln.
That is awesome.
Because I was sweating. I had started this over a month ago to make sure that I had an ID to vote.
Well, that's a great story. Thank you for sharing that. Here's what I would encourage you to do. Reach out to one of the senators. I think they would, if you lay that out for them, kind of walk them through. I know like Mike Flood, there are several senators, obviously Mike Flood, Fisher,
Mike Flood's great.
Ricketts. Yeah. And you reach out to them and I know that they'll be willing, their staff will be willing to kind of walk you through too. So, all right. Well, thanks so much. Thanks very much for calling in.
Okay. They just think they can do whatever they want out there. So
well, good.
I appreciate your show very much.
All right. Thanks for listening. Thanks for calling in. We appreciate that. And thanks for sharing the story. How cool is that?
I'll let you know what happens.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you so much. All right. Well, there you go. Talk and Text Tuesday, 402-479-1400. We're going to take a quick break here and the phones are still ringing off the hook. We'll come back. I've got some ideas here in regards to the DMV and how it can help you out. We'll keep talking DMV if that's what you want to talk about, and the fish story and why it's so stinky. We'll get into some details in just a little bit. You can call the Hunt Irrigation Talk and Text line 402-479-1400. Thanks again for listening to Drive Time Nebraska. We'll be back in just a couple minutes.
Your home for intelligent conversation and informed analysis.
They stick to the facts.
1499.3 KLIN.
First time buying or selling silver or gold? Lincoln Coin & Bullion is Nebraska's largest historic currency and bullion dealer with staff happy to inform and educate. Give them a call.
This holiday season, what if you could put extra money back in your pocket, up to $166 every single month? A Casasa checking account at Liberty First Credit Union makes it easy. Earn rewards for doing the things you already do, like a direct deposit, using your debit card, and getting e-statements. Whether it's for holiday fun, paying bills, or saving for the future, Casasa helps you keep more of your hard-earned cash. Liberty First Credit Union, banking with purpose. Qualifications apply. See a Liberty First representative for details.
Barb Ballard with the From Nebraska Gift Shop.
At the From Nebraska Gift Shop in Lincoln's Haymarket, we celebrate the best of Nebraska. We love Nebraska and we enjoy helping others share that same joy and passion. Whether it's a gift for a client, thanking an employee, or attracting new customers, do it with a personalized gift basket featuring a variety of Nebraska-made foods and unique gifts. It's the best Nebraska has to offer. The From Nebraska Gift Shop, providing the perfect gift for any occasion.
Does it feel like someone is stabbing a knife into your heel? Does your lower back hurt more and more as the day goes on? The Good Feet store can help. Take a listen to Ann and Patrick.
I had to go nonstop from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. every day. Every time I stood up, pain just shot up my legs. Fortunately, I found the Good Feet store. I went to them after my doctor diagnosed me with plantar fasciitis. Now, thanks to the Good Feet store, I'm 100% pain-free.
I was in constant pain. Somehow my fiance and I found our way into the Good Feet store. Put my foot on the arch support system. I put them in my shoes, walked out of the store. All the pain was gone. My back, my knees, my ankles. Thank you. Thank you, everybody at the Good Feet store. You gave me my active life back.
Come to the Good Feet store this holiday season and give the gift of pain relief to you and your loved ones. Visit the store at 27th and Pine Lake Road across from South Point Mall or book your free fitting at goodfeet.com. FSA HSA eligible. Please check with your provider. Gift cards are available. Come in and get a free personalized fitting today.
Nebraska Veterans Aid is here for veterans and dependents facing unforeseen financial emergencies. Get assistance with food, fuel, shelter, clothing, transportation, and even funeral and medical expenses. If you're a veteran facing a financial emergency, apply for Nebraska Veterans Aid through your county veteran service officer. Learn more at veterans.nebraska.gov/NVA. Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
You're listening to Drive Time Nebraska with Doug Fitzgerald. More of the show coming up on 1499.3 KLIN. KLIN weather brought to you by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electrical.
Mainly clear and chilly this evening with the temperature dropping into the low 30s by midnight. After midnight, mostly clear with a low in the upper 20s. Wednesday, mostly sunny to partly cloudy, cool and windy. A few sprinkles or flurries can't be completely ruled out, high in the upper 40s. From the 1011 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Brandon Rector.
KLIN Time Saver Traffic, delivered by Paisanos, Lincoln's best brick oven pizza.
As we wind down the evening commute, there is still that stalled vehicle in the southbound lane of North 56th and Vine Street that is causing some backup. So try to find an alternative route if you can. Other than that, have the usual slow spots north 27th and Cornhusker Highway, north 14th and Superior. Have O Street stretching from 27th to 56th Street and eastbound Normal Boulevard between A and South Street. Do keep in mind there are several downtown street and building projects. Do watch for lane shifts and closures in the downtown area, and be sure to keep the headlights on. That's another check of your Time Saver Traffic.
Tackling the issues that truly matter to Nebraskans head on. With the occasional targeting call, this is Drive Time Nebraska with Doug Fitzgerald on 1499.3 KLIN.
Something fishy still going on. Talk about the DMV and the court case today that was where this guy named Schrader's found guilty for slinging fish around, causing trouble at a DMV here in Lincoln. And anyway, we got a lot of comments, calls, texts. We appreciate you chiming in on the conversation. It's Talking Text Tuesday. That's what it's about. So the Hunt Irrigation Talking Text line's open, 402-479-1400. Well, yesterday we dug into what is truly, going behind the scenes. And that's what we're here to do at Drive Time Nebraska. Kind of unveil what's behind the curtain. Kind of like the Oz. Wizard of Oz. What's happening behind the scenes? And we got a look yesterday of what's happening right here in Lancaster County as it impacts us locally and with our county officials and the races that are going on, especially this last election. We followed the political money trail from multi-million and multi-billion-dollar companies and organizations that are influencing us and our daily lives right here in the state of Nebraska, in your county, in your city. Specifically, we looked at the Lancaster County Commissioner District 4 race. That race was between Democrat Chelsea Johnson and Republican David Russell. And we revealed through a public website, you can go on our social media pages or podcasts and get the link for that. But through a Nebraska Gov site, where all the money came from. And it's revealed that the energy corporations and the left-leaning progressive organizations contributed nearly $200,000 to Chelsea Johnson's campaign. A lot of it within the last few weeks of the campaign to make David Russell look bad. If you missed out, the podcast of that is up right now. You can go to klin.com or your favorite podcast service. I know we already had some people texting in about that. So check it out. And let's talk about that for just a second before we go into Hunter Biden here. What we talked about yesterday was an article that came out in the Lincoln Journal-Star in regards to Next Era Energy and a big project that was announced And this is a company that contributed to Johnson's campaign to get everything kickstarted for her. They're scheduled to have a public hearing tomorrow in front of the Lincoln-Lancaster County Planning Commission for this project. The meeting starts at 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon in the city council chambers. And this project's a $600 million solar farm project. It's going to consume over 2,400 acres of land just east of Hallam. That's a big project. And we got several responses from the show yesterday. People still listening to the show today. So if you have a comment or question, you can call or text in or comment on the social media feed, 402-479-1400. I want to go back to something that frustrates me about this, Wyatt. Here's a big project. They want the public feedback, or at least that's what they're saying. And as we read through information from yesterday, even the neighbors have not heard about this project yet in Hallam. No public meetings there, nothing happening. So people didn't know. They said there was only one negative response to this whole thing. They had one email, they said. But then the landowners don't even know that they're going to have this big project in their backyard. So they've got a lot of questions. I would too. I mean, if I had a 2,400 acre solar farm going up next to my house here, I'd be like, all right, hold on a second. Let me ask some questions about this. And this is all under the Planning Commission's jurisdiction at this point. They already gave kind of an initial okay of approval that doesn't need a vote of any of our elected officials to start this project. But this meeting that they're having, this public hearing tomorrow, if enough people go, they can get this thing appealed, and then it can go back, I believe, to the Lancaster County Commissioners to vote on this, whether they should move ahead or not. Here's my issue with it, just like with the city council meetings. The meeting's at 1 o'clock on Wednesday. How many of you can get off work at 1 o'clock tomorrow? Why in the heck aren't these meetings at 7 o'clock on Wednesday night? Even 6 o'clock. Heck, maybe we can get some people to do a fish fry. We can feed people while we're doing it. We need to dig into this more. When you're talking about things that people need to know about, that impact their daily lives, their property, the properties around them, especially with all the property taxes we pay, let's have a meeting that starts at 7 o'clock on an evening so people can actually go and attend. That's the frustrating thing about this. And this is big money. I'm not saying the solar farms are bad. I don't know. I haven't researched that. But what I am saying, and what I shared yesterday, if you haven't listened to the show, listen all the way through. I laid it out really well. I told Wyatt I think I killed a tree with all the documents that I had of all the contributions coming in from out of state to influence our elected officials. That's what I'm concerned about. Because guess who is going to be approving, if it does get appealed, approving this project? Lancaster County Commissioners. Where'd the money go? In this race for District 4, to a commissioner they already know would support them. Give them a vote. Would David Russell have voted? I don't know. But I know he wasn't bought. We know that. He didn't receive money. He didn't receive money from these corporations, and it was several corporations and organizations. It wasn't just one or two or three or four or five. It was several. So I laid that out in the show yesterday. I tell you who donated, how much they donated to both campaigns so that you understand. But the importance is that we understand that who we put into office is important. And how we allow things to happen when important things need to be decided, some of these things need to change. A 1 o'clock Wednesday afternoon meeting about this needs to be changed by the Planning Commission. It needs to be. Same thing with City Council. You bring up those meetings, it's in the afternoon. So let's change that. That's what I say. That's what I think. All right, let's go to caller on line 1. Welcome to Drive Time Nebraska. What's your comment?
Well, I just thank you for letting us know what's going on. I would just want somebody that's going to that meeting to raise the question of what these solar companies do is they come into communities that aren't aware and they buy up, I wouldn't say cheap land, but land that's inexpensive. And then they put these solar companies in. They work for, let's say 15, 20 years. And then something goes haywire. Who's cleaning up that mess? That is a big mess of who disposes of it, who cleans that up. We don't have any regulation in Nebraska that I know of that takes care of this problem. And somebody needs to be on that because in 20 years, that's going to be a mess.
You know, you bring up a good point because I've been doing some reading on the wind farms, and we're starting to see a lot of those big old windmills, right?
Absolutely.
Faltering. And the question is, how do they dispose of them?
All of that?
Yeah, what do they do with them? That's the big question.
They're not recyclable, let me tell you that.
And they've already taken up land and lots of land. This project here is 2,400 acres. That is a big, it's the biggest in the state. We already have one started right on the east side of town, O Street out to 198th or something like that. So we've got one already started. This one's in the process of beginning.
We don't have any regulation to clean that up when it's done or keep it clean or, you know, there's fallout to these kind of projects. People go, oh, it brings money into town and all that stuff. Well, who wants to drive by that every day?
Well, and it also is a good point when you look at this is what is the impact and why aren't we allowing people to ask questions other than I give them the planning department has a meeting tomorrow at 1. But my big beef with that is how many people can actually go to that meeting?
Absolutely.
I can't go to that meeting. If I do, I have to take time off of my business, my work to be able to get there. They should have these meetings at a convenient time, whether it's on the weekends, in the evenings. And if it's an elected official meeting, then they're getting paid to do this from us, or they're getting voted in to do this for us. And they need to represent us in this.
Anytime you do something, I'm going to use in the darkness because people aren't even aware of it. Isn't when I'm saying darkness, not that it's held in the daytime, so it's not dark, but in the darkness, it's not a good thing. I mean, if this is an up and up thing, then it would be up and we would be able to talk about it and it wouldn't be so secret. I mean, if the people that live there doesn't know about it, there's a problem.
Yep. I agree. All right, Paula, thank you so much for calling in. We really appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
You bet. And thanks for listening to Drive Time Nebraska. We appreciate that as well. Great point. Just be willing to answer some questions. And that's what we want to do here. As I took over the show, it was, I'm learning all this stuff. I was on the fringe from a political standpoint and understanding how everything works. And our responsibility is to really pull back the curtain, say what is happening. We're learning what happens in meetings. I covered that a couple of weeks ago with Lancaster County Commissioner meetings, little snide remarks of things and the things they're voting for that have nothing to do, in my opinion, with county issues that should be handled. And they're voting for federal funds going to an organization that's a progressive political organization. And then one person votes against it and their little snide remark comes up. And I know with this project, if it goes to the commissioners, I know they're going to vote for it, and that's fine. My point is just let them vote. Then it's going to be our responsibility, if we don't like the way the vote goes, to change who's on the commission. All right, let's take a break here. Maybe, I don't know, we can keep talking about this, whatever you want to talk about. It's Talk and Text Tuesday, 402-479-1400. We'd love to be able to talk and hear. James has a comment on social media that we'll talk about here in just a second. Keep texts coming in as well. Cities from across the state, they are listening to Drive Time Nebraska.
Is your business or organization impacted by the latest severe weather? Let Lincoln know by signing up under the Closings tab at KLIN.com.
You're listening to Drive Time Nebraska with Doug Fitzgerald. Sports Nightly is next on 1499.3 KLIN.
The vehicles at Rent-A-Van are far more than four wheels that get you places. They're mobile planning rooms for your business team to prepare for that big presentation. They're also ultra comfortable and roomy enough to catch a nap on the way back. Rent-A-Van provides a moving studio for impromptu family sing-alongs. The vans are an assurance that your crew, family, team, and any group on an adventure get there in a reliable, comfortable van that has been through rigorous safety inspections. Your plans, our vans. RentaVanLincoln.com. Now open in Omaha.
Discover the difference with Oak Electric, a local woman-owned business offering premium electrical service at competitive prices. With over 25 years of experience, their master electrician is one of Lincoln's top experts. Their small, dedicated team focuses on quality control and safety for your family or business. Experience the premium customer service you deserve. When life happens, call Oak Electric at 402-440-5969 because they always answer the phone. Oak Electric, where quality and safety come first.
Does your business need quick, competitive financing for heavy machinery, trucks, or other equipment? Currency is here to help. Whether you're financing construction equipment, farm equipment, trucks, trailers, or any other big-ticket item, Currency will automatically find the best rates. Currency facilitates loans for up to $500,000 with repayment terms up to 72 months. It's fast, easy, and free to use. Visit gocurrency.com and apply today.
Enjoy your life at Fallbrook Assisted Living and Memory Care in Lincoln. Here's Megan Hayes, Sales Director.
At Fallbrook, we promote a lifestyle where you choose, encouraging friendships, flavorful meals, and supportive care when you need it. We're all about you and helping you feel at home. We invite you to enjoy your life at Fallbrook Assisted Living and Memory Care. Call us for a tour.
Apartments are available. Visit fallbrookassisted.com, an MJ Senior Living community.
When lack of sound has you down, Captain Audio and Hearman will save the day.
Turn left here.
What?
Quick, get them to where we can help.
Christensen Audiology in 3 blocks.
Huh? Don't worry, sir. The consultation is free.
Then we'll use sound testing and high-tech equipment to determine the issue and eliminate it.
We're here.
Our staff will take care of everything.
Call Christensen Hearing Analytics at 489-3450. That's 489-3450.
You're listening to Drive Time Nebraska with Doug Fitzgerald. More of the show coming up on 1499.3 KLIN. KLIN weather brought to you by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electrical.
Mainly clear and chilly this evening with the temperature dropping into the low 30s by midnight. After midnight, mostly clear with a low in the upper 20s. Wednesday, mostly sunny to partly cloudy, cool and windy. A few sprinkles or flurries can't be completely ruled out, high in the upper 40s. From the 1011 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Brandon Rector.
Training threes on the issues that truly matter to Nebraskans, with the occasional technical or two. This is Drive Time Nebraska with Doug Fitzgerald on 1499.3 KLIN.
Big thanks to our sponsors on this show. A growing list of sponsors, by the way. We appreciate that. Oak Electric has taken care of my family's personal and business needs for a long time. They've got an amazing team of people, decades of experience behind them. They are so good, so kind, so encouraging, on time, get the job done right, and clean up after themselves. Who doesn't like that? So if you need any electrical work done, commercial or personal with your residential property, just contact Oak Electric. They're the place to go. You can find them on the website at oakelectriccompany.com, and they'll take care of you. All right, well, we've been talking DMV. We've been talking stinky fish. We've been talking solar farms, all this stuff. James on social media says, where's the power from the plant going? I was just doing a look back of that on my notes. It's being fed into an end, from my understanding, I'm not going to get this maybe totally correct, but into an NPPD feed. And who's going to benefit from that electricity? I don't know. $600 million project. It's going to employ, we found out, 10 people full time. And it's going to give like a $1.4 million tax benefit over, they said, 30 years. I don't know if that was a misprint or not. If it was, I want to assume it was a misprint, because 1.4 million over 30 years, our power better be pretty darn cheap. if that's the case. So why not? Maybe, we let them come in. If it powers the whole state, we get electricity for free. What do you think about that, Wyatt? You can charge up your iPhone for free. Maybe we're going to get to that point at some point. I don't know. So anyway, yeah, that was an interesting topic. And DMV, I wanted to go back to that for a second. I got distracted a little bit. I want to give you a tip with the DMV. Now, we all know, and somebody had said, Wyatt may not have had enough experience at the DMV to be frustrated. And I understand the frustration. Over the years, man, I used to dread going to the DMV. As a matter of fact, we went up to, I believe, Wahoo for getting my son and my daughter's driver's license because it was just easier there to go through and get the driver's license test and all that. Because here, if you go to DMV, it's busy. So I don't want to harp too hard on the DMV employees because over the years, yeah, it's been frustrating. Sometimes you can walk in there and you can walk right up to a counter. Other times you can walk in there and there is a line out the door and you just don't know what's going to happen. But here's a cool thing that they started implementing, and my wife and I have taken advantage of this. You can set up appointments beforehand. And I've done this a couple of times. My wife has done it as well, and it works. You walk in. I've never had to wait. You walk in, you get serviced, and you walk out. So my number one tip would be go on the website, make your appointment so that you don't have to wait in line, get frustrated. Because that's where most people get frustrated, right? Number one, waiting. And they get frustrated with that. Number two, here you come in with all your stuff. You think you have it set up to title a car or renew or whatever. And you get up to the counter and they're like, oops, we need this document, or oops, we need this form. Well, can I? Nope. You got to go get it and come back. So that's that. So again, go to the website and they lay all this stuff out. So I do want to give them benefit of the doubt. And they'll tell you exactly what the documents need to be to come in. It's something that can actually ease your life a little bit. So you don't have to be taking stinky fish and carrots. I want to know why the carrots, by the way. Fish I can understand. Carrots are carrots. I mean, what did they ever do? I don't think carrots get stinky, do they? I can think of other vegetables that are stinkier. Cauliflower, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, those things I can understand, but the fish and carrots, I can't. Well, one of the last things I want to talk about before we head on out is Governor Pillen laid out his priorities for this coming year in 2025, and I appreciate them. Number one, he wants to do away with lab-grown meat. Amen. Real meat. And he wants to bar transgender K through 12 athletes from getting into girls' locker rooms and bathrooms. And I think that's a really good thing as well. And he's going to work on property taxes too and a couple other things. So thanks so much for listening today on our Talk and Text Tuesday. We appreciate you calling in, texting in, commenting in. And we'll see you tomorrow on Wednesday. Thanks so much to Wyatt for producing the show. There's only 82,800 seconds left until we see each other again, my friends. I want you to seize everyone. Husker women's basketball is up next. Have a great night and go Big Red.
From the Momo Pizzeria and Ristorante Studios, we are the voice of Lincoln. KLIN Lincoln. KDVK HD3 Lincoln. K257GN Lincoln is 1400.